All right, here we go. We're going to do a couple bonus tracks, and actually one of these is going to be from a previous album, just because it's an interesting little piano version, and I don't know where else to put it in a video, so I just thought, well, it is Joni Mitchell, so let's just do something like that. So I'm going to do another sort of alternate take from the For the Roses sessions, or not an alternate take, it's actually going to be either before or after the album. I'm not sure of the date of it, whether it came before a live version or a studio version, maybe from the outtakes or something like that. But yeah, but first let's do a little alternate take of Joni Mitchell. I mean, this is from, I believe, Blue. But this would just be a fun little song, and I feel like probably most people haven't heard this. Yeah, this is a cover version of her song AlI Want, which was on the previous album, Blue. So in a sense, it doesn't really fit into this particular song. But I just think I'm sure most people have not heard this version. It's a fun little piano version done by, I think it's by Keith Jarrett. Yeah, Keith Jarrett. Anyway, doing AlI Want, just a piano. Oh, no, sorry. Bass, drums, piano. Okay, so yeah, I just felt like I'm going to do another alternate take of for the Roses, but this was done in 1971, and it was on Keith Jarrett's album called "The Morning of a Star." Mourning as in grieving, and yeah, this was Keith Jarrett on piano. Also did the soprano sax, recorder, and the steel and conga drums. So I think there was the recorder on this, and piano, and then on acoustic bass was Charlie Hayden, and on the drums and percussion was Paul Motian. And yeah, so we heard the there was obviously piano, there was the recorder, the drums, mostly percussion I think on this. I heard the tambourine and some other some sort of shakers, and then the bass by Charlie Hayden. So yeah, it kind of does have that sort of very playful, kind of almost Charlie Brown kind of, I don't know, everything that sort of has that sort of feel just feels like Charlie Brown for some reason. But it's such a yeah, it really just, it's such a great version. I don't hear that many Joni Mitchell covers, especially instrumentals, that much. And so I heard this, I was like, wow, it just has, it's such a great cover of Joni Mitchell, just so, and it, because it's, yeah, Keith Jarrett and Charlie Hayden and this sort of jazz trio, it just really has that, it just has that playfulness to it and the sort of joy for that accompanies, yeah, Joni Mitchell's song, All I Want. So anyway, I didn't know where else I could put that song in to any collection, so I said, well, I'm going to just sort of horseshoe it in, sort of just jam it into this this Joni Mitchell particular album cover and album. So since we're throwing in a couple different alternative and bonus tracks, so, and it was done pretty much the same, you know, pretty close in year. So it was 1971, and while she was writing the For the Roses album. So, but yeah, for one more bonus, let's do something actually from the Joni Mitchell tracks. So we're gonna do, I'm trying to find something that has a little bit different instrumentation. So this one is See You Sometime. This is an early version with bass and drums. So yeah, the other ones are kind of like live versions, this and that. They're not really that different from the original, other than just sounding live. You know, they sound a little starker, not so studio quality. But yeah, this See You Sometime with bass and drums, who I'm not sure are playing them. It could be Stephen Stills, as he did.
Give me that again.
Some hotel room, does it have a view? Are you caught in a crowd or holding some honey who came on to you? Why do you have to be so jive? Okay, hang up the phone. It hurts, but something survives. Though it's undermined, still like to see you sometime. Feeling so good, and my friends all tell me that I'm looking fine. I run in the woods, I spring from the boulders like a mama lion. Of your fortune and your fame, 'cause I tasted mine. I would just like to see you sometime. Pack your suspenders, I'll come meet your plane. No need to surrender. No, it's not that kind of game. I just wanna see you again. We're in for more rain. I could cheer you some sunshine on my apple trees. It seems such a shame we start off so kind and end so heartlessly. I couldn't take them on then with a head full of questions and hypes. So when the hopes got so slim, I just resigned. But I would still like to see you sometime. I would sure like to see you.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's really, I mean, it's great to hear other alternate takes, things with added or subtracted instruments, other arrangements, because it really does get you into the mind of the musician, especially where I think like John Lennon would say, like, no song was ever finished. He never felt like any song was finished. What gets put out in the studio, you feel like there's some resolve, some finality to it, when a lot of times, essentially the musicians, it's just a random cutting up on it. That's good enough, or that's what we were looking for. And you just stop all the momentum of trying to, increase the, the clarity or the idea of the song, or the symbolic, symbolic music that's to get it across, when I'm sure, 99 times out of 100, there's somebody in the musician, whether it's the group or a single individual like Joni Mitchell, or whether her engineers or her, like she said, too many chefs in the kitchen, somebody else in the mix who has an idea to, add something or subtract something or minimize something or maximize something else. There's always something that could be tweaked, So it's cool to hear other things, other ideas that maybe got left behind. So this obviously went from going from more, from bass and drums, to getting rid of that and just leaving it more sparse with just a vocal and piano performance for the most part. But you can see what's, it's not always one's, obviously better than the other. You can see that there are certain additives that get added with this. It sort of has this foundational quality that you can sort of is a plus and a minus. It adds something to the song, but it also takes away maybe the expression of her, ability to do something. So it kind of adds something to it, sort of builds this foundation, but it also acts as a cage, to sort of narrow down the things that you can do, because you're adding this sort of structure around it. So yeah, it's cool to hear that. So I like it in some ways. I'm like, oh, okay, it's kind of building this sort of momentum, but without that, it sort of leaves her a little bit more open space, to sort of pause and give it her sort of organic timing, that may be timeless. It may be more free time, in other words, where she does it alone. But yeah, on the whole, this album had little of that structure around it, other than what she would add to it with her own, just through playing the piano or the guitar. So there wasn't a lot of bass, there wasn't a lot of rhythm attached to it, as she did with most of her albums, until she started to. So maybe she started to still flirt with the idea, especially with the herself and maybe Tom Scott, because I think once you get to the next albums, they're going to be much more of that structure, through the percussion and drums and rhythm and timing and things like that. That's going to be a proponent of it much more. So it's interesting to see that juxtaposition. So, well, I hope you appreciated these. These were some interesting things maybe you haven't heard before. But yeah, that's going to round out this particular album, this particular jaunt down through Joni Mitchell's period, 1972. Just after Blue, after the extreme, profound Blue, and then this, and then coming into Court and Spark, another sort of blowout into the Joni Mitchell sound, and her unleashing herself onto the world. So this is, in a sense, for a lot of people, a transition period, but it's also something where, it stands on its own. And so that's why I kind of wanted to do it in this time, just to sort of see that, live in this period, after and coming before. It's a real transition, not transition, because that kind of minimizes what it is, but it is a conversion period. It's a period where she was really exploring and really discovering, what it was she wanted to coming out of, and what she wanted to come back into, if she wanted to come back into it at all. So, but I appreciate it. Yeah, we're gonna jump in. We're gonna go into the next full album, or whatever that is. Might be Gil Scott-Heron. More recommendations, and yeah, right now we're gonna continue on with the Canterbury scene. A few more bands on that. Yeah, Keith Tippett, Just Us, yeah, Elton Dean. Also, Centipede. Yeah, I don't know. Moving Gelatin Plates we're going to jump into. Matching Mole, Quiet Sun, Con, Hatfield, Isotope. Yeah, we're going into the second late mid-70s, into the early 70s, into the mid-70s of the Canterbury scene. So yeah, hope you enjoy that. And again, take care, guys. Thanks for enjoying this. Hope you enjoyed it. And let me know any of your feelings when this album set for you, what it means to you, and where you'd like to go next with a full album. Any recommendations? We'll filter it down into the next album list, and always single recommendations monthly. I'm gonna put those out. That's coming up soon too. All the best stuff that you guys have given me, and I appreciate it so much. It's really kind of turning over a new leaf into sort of exploring music, and it's great to hear some choices of you guys and just feel like it's a revolution in that sense. So, a revelation, I should say. But again, take care, guys. We'll see you on the next one. Have a great day. Bye-bye.